especially since we still have them here, because a lot of times when we go to recognize the staff that's in the meeting, they're gone. So while they're still here, we want to thank you for coming to this meeting and want to recognize the staff that's here. Quite a few of the department heads are in the back, so thank you all for coming. We have a chance to actually thank you in person. And we also want to recognize Mr. Stephen Blackerby. Thank you, our city attorney. The beginning of the meeting, how do you like that? Okay, so next we have a presentation. This is Boy Scouts of America, Eagle Scout, Marcello Reed, and this is with Councilmember Artie Jones.
Okay, before you get started, Marcello, let me, and believe me, he's a man of few words. As a matter of fact, I talked to him, his scout leader, Miss Thornton, and I said, I may have to get you to stand up and help him in this because he doesn't say a whole lot, but he knows how to beg for money because he got some of mine. To clear up a few things, I just wanted to let you know that I discussed this with the mayor. We talked about this, and he agreed wholeheartedly that this is what we should do. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make it because he's ill. But I just want to let you know to remember him in your prayers. And if there's anything, if you like everything about it, it was the mayor and me. If you don't like it, it was just the mayor. So anyway, Marcello, would you like to start, please?
Yes, sir. Hello. I wanted to thank the community, Boy Scout Troop 208, Ms. Jennifer Thornton, City of St. Mary's Public Works Department, Mr. Sean Clearwater, Mr. Bobby Marr, City Manager Robbie Horton, City of St. Mary's, and volunteers for their assistance with my Eagle Scout project. I also wanted to give a special thank you to Mr. C.B. Yadav of GOPE and Mr. William Gross, Lowe's, and my mom and dad. Now, what I did for my project was I helped fix the gazebo in St. Mary's Park. Not St. Mary's. It was Chris Gilmer Park. Yes. Oh no, it was Chris Gilmer Park. And that's it.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
like I said,
You did say
he's a man of.
he's a man of few words, but do you have are you the troop leader?
Yeah.
Would you mind just kind of explaining what an Eagle Scout is? Most of us may know, but would you mind doing that just so they can take into perspective the work that this young man has done? Yes,
come
ma'am.
up.
Sorry.
Miss Mayor Pro
Well, you got
Tem,
some-
when she's done, I'll show you pictures of the work that was performed.
Perfect. Thank you.
So Marcello
You have
actually
to-
joined Cub Scouts.
Just step just a little bit more to the mic and lower it a little bit. There we go. Perfect.
He
Thank
joined
you.
Cub Scouts at the age of 7 in first grade. He went through Cub Scouts. He crossed over into Boy Scouts at the age of 11 and joined my troop. He went through the ranks, and in the Eagle Scout rank, you have to do several items and then perform a project. So Marcello looked around his community to see what could benefit the most. He noticed that the gazebo at the park was in disarray. It needed painting, it needed boards replaced. There was the wheelchair ramp. A lot of the boards and stuff were rotted away. So he replaced most of them. He replaced a lot of the spindles, and then he repainted the whole gazebo. So that was his project. It is the biggest project that anybody in my troop has ever done. We were very impressed and very pleased with what he did.
Thank you.
Also, I just want to let you know that I have 3 boys, and I got them all into scouting and everything, and some of them didn't make it past Weeblos, but this position that he's got to be, this is the highest rank that you can get in scouting. Only 6% of all Boy Scouts ever make it to this point. And that's what I thought was so great. And I think when he went down to the city of St. Mary's, he thought he was just going to do paint some bleachers or benches. But then the staff told him down there, hey, we got something that need a little bit more attention than that. So he had to really do car washes and everything to raise money. And like I said, the only way I knew him was when he started begging me for money after I paid for my car wash. So, Mr. Horton, do you have some of the,
Yes, sir. This is the before project pictures.
And I'm just going to step down while you show those
I'm
photos.
sorry.
I'm just going to step down while you show the photos.
Oh, sure.
stay up there, Miss Thornton, don't go nowhere. Marcelo, you come up there too, but go ahead.
You can see some of the discoloration and some of the rot on them, on the boards. Wear and tear. During the project, this is the fundraising portion, I would assume.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This is the wood being delivered, is that correct?
Yes.
Hard at work.
I feel like we need a narrator or something, Mr. Horton.
I'm as loud as I can go and I can't hear you. Sorry. Some of his help. And the actual painting of the gazebo.
Wow,
There's the finished product.
okay. Since the mayor won't be able to read what we have the mayor pro tem do it.
So they can see something other than your back, if you want to come right over here, sir. So we would like to give you this plaque. I'm going to go ahead and read it. In grateful recognition of Marcello J.D. Reed, Troop 208, for his Eagle Scout Community Project for the renovation of the St. Mary's Howard Gilman Memorial Park gazebo and accessibility ramp. Your dedication, leadership, and commitment will have a lasting impact on our city. And we thank you for your exemplary service and for upholding the values of the Eagle Scout rank. August 19th, 2024. So, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Turn this off. Sorry. To put it in perspective again, I too have 3 sons, and 2 of them were Boy Scout. Well, I'm sorry, one didn't make it past Tiger because we had just moved here and he was scared of everything. And I did have a Boy Scout, I think Arrow Scout, is that correct? But it's tough to get to Eagle Scout, so thank you so much for your service. Thank you again. It's really nice seeing young people giving back to their community, isn't it? Yes. So thank you again. So next we have a board announcement. This is a new board, and this is our Tax Allocation District Number 3 Advisory Board. Most of you were here for the work session that we had earlier today. And I believe there should be more information from our city clerk if you're interested in serving on that board. Secondly, we have a vacancy, and this is, again, for Orange Hall Management Committee. And that vacancy was for Ms. Robin Cross's seat. We also have a board announcement for term expirations. The first one is the Orange Hall Management Committee. We have Todd Harding, Vernal Jean Morrison, and Niles Trapnell. The second is the St. Mary's Library Board, term expirations as well, Ms. Judy Heim and Denise Proctor. We also have board appointment vacancies for the St. Mary's Hospital Authority, Giancarlo Petrowski. We also have board appointments for term expirations for the Camden County Board of Education Sex Education Instructional Review Committee. I would encourage citizens, if you're interested in serving on any of these boards, to reach out to our city clerk, where I'm sure that she would be happy to give you additional information. Next, we have reports on boards, commissions, and committees. We have a report from our finance director, Ms. Marcia Klecken.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
You will find in your council packet the finance report for the period ending June the 30th of 2024, which is the 12th month of fiscal year 2024. Is there any questions?
Seeing that it's the 12th month of 2024, I'm sure you have an overview or at least a couple comments on the fiscal year.
Actually, at this point, I do not, because we are in the process right now of auditing, in the middle of getting prepared for our audit. Auditors will be here to actually conduct the annual audit for that year in the last part of September, which is in the city manager's report as well. So this is just a snapshot of what is in your council packet of that particular moment in time. And quite frankly, if I ran another report right now, it will have changed, because we have been doing adjusting journal entries and accruing and all kinds of things, all kinds of accounting things.
Okay. And is there anything in particular that you look for in terms of, hey, we're in good financial shape?
Well, I think it speaks for itself if you'll look at the report and analyze it as compared to what we had going on this time last year, and also the cash position of the general fund. I think the report speaks for itself.
Thank you, ma'am.
All
Any
right.
questions, council?
Yes, during the hurricane, we were supposed to have an auction for disposal of
Yes,
property.
yes, sir. The property tax sale. That was canceled, and it will not be rescheduled, because this is also in the city manager's report, so I'm stealing some of his thunder.
Oh, okay.
But the reason why it will not be rescheduled, because the city has to do due diligence when preparing for the property tax sale. That means we have to send out notifications to people. This process actually started for this year. It actually started in April. So there's many months. There's many months that goes before the actual sale, and actually the purpose of having a property tax sale is to get the collections up that leads up to the tax sale. The tax sale is really not the important thing. And we collected right at $190,000 prior to the week before the tax sale. So actually, it was a successful year for us as far as the property tax sale goes, even though we did not conduct a tax sale. So, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So next year, we'll have another one again next year. And that, depending on when we have the sale date, is when it will start. If we have another one in August, then it'll start again in April.
All right. Thank you very
Okay.
much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, moving right along. Next, we have to set our consent agenda. So we have Council, we have, and please, I will ask that if I could finish the sentence
Okay.
beforehand, while you've had an opportunity to look at the agenda, maybe some of our citizens that are watching or in the audience may not have, so give me an opportunity to get it out before you consent to it or ask for discussion. For old business, we have item A, which is the resolution amendment calling for a referendum and municipal special election on November 5th, 2024, regarding the homestead exemption from the City of St. Mary's and ad valorem taxes in the amount of $25,000 of assessed value for residents 62 years age or older.
Consent.
Consent.
Okay, and we will read the resolution, if that's okay. We have, for new business, we have A, which is the resolution for Boy Scouts of America Eagle Scout Project regarding St. Mary's Howard Gilman Memorial Park gazebo donated by Marcello Reed, Boy Scouts of America, Troop 208.
Consent.
We
We have a resolution. I kind of spilled the beans to Ms. Thornton a while ago, so we'll probably have to discuss that.
I'll be happy to. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have B, which is the contract for architectural services for Orange Hall ground floor renovations between City of St. Mary's and David E. Amos Architectural, LLC.
Consent.
Okay, and then we also have item C, which is the memorandum of understanding extension between the City of St. Mary's and GOPE Gateway, Inc. for development of Gateway property.
Consent.
Consent?
I'd like to discuss that one.
All right. Okay, and then we have item D, which is the approval to reject and re-advertise fiscal year 2022, fiscal year 2023, and fiscal year 2024 bids for the local maintenance and improvement grants, the LMIGs.
Consent.
Consent.
Okay, and then we have item E, which is the lease supplement agreement loan resolution and fiscal year 2025 general and water sewer funds budget ordinance amendment for vehicles and equipment from the Georgia Municipal Association.
Discuss.
Sure.
Okay. And then we also have item F, which is the Hazard Mitigation Program Award with Georgia Emergency Management and Homeland Security Agency for water sewer generators.
Consent.
Okay, we have G, which is the minor subdivision final plat request for tax parcel 121009, Radiant, St. Mary's LLC, that's Exit 1 and St. Mary's Road.
I'd like to discuss that just,
Okay, discuss. And item H, reverse subdivision request for tax parcels 135010 and 135010A for 4272 Georgia Highway 40 East.
consent.
Okay, and then we have item I, which is the reverse subdivision request for tax parcels 148F027 and 148F029 for 133 and 153 Dolphin Drive.
Consent.
Consent.
We have item J, which is the Georgia Municipal Employees Benefit Systems Ordinance and Adoption Agreement and General Addendum.
Consent.
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 Consent. Okay, I'm just going to go back through. So we have a consent agenda, which consists of old business, item A, new business, item B, item D, item F, item H, item I, and item J.
Motion to approve the consent agenda is
Consent, I said B as in boy, as well as D as in David. Got it? Okay.
vote,
All right, I will entertain a motion.
motion to approve.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda by Councilmember Riley and a second by Councilmember Jones. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ma'am, that's unanimous.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we have the approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Jones.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Rassi. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ma'am, that's unanimous.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we'll move right into our granting audience to the public, and this is for agenda items only. Step up to the podium, 5-minute limit, and please state your name and address.
Good evening, members of the council and people out in the audience here. My name is Mark Fouts. I'm at 310 West Bryant Street here in St. Mary's. I just want to discuss a little bit about item C, which is the MOU with GOP. As I read this MOU, it's replacing an MOU that is 16 months old. And this particular one, it appears that it gives, it's an MOU with GOP that lasts for another 24 months, and on top of that, it is automatically renewed for another 24 months after that period. I also don't see any performance language in this MOU whatsoever. I've been an investor a couple times in my life. And as I look at this hotel, this particular piece of property has been determined to have a hotel put on it for at least the last 10 years. I'm aware that Marriott has looked at it, Hilton has looked at it, and the Patel organization has looked at it. And after 16 months, not one shovel full of dirt has been turned. As I say, St. Mary's is a really great place to live. We got a lot of nice people here, but the bottom line is St. Mary's doesn't have a star-studded nightlife. We don't have a gambling boat. We don't have a casino. We don't have a really big charter fishing service. We don't have a resort. We don't have a beach. We don't have world-famous restaurants. Kingsland has already capitalized on I-95 traffic for the hotels, and to my knowledge, we don't have a house of ill repute. So, bottom line is, the hotel appears to me, and by my deduction, because these other hoteliers have looked at it, that it must not be a real good risk for them to be taking on this thing. And to put an MOU out for 24 months after there's been no apparent movement after 16 months, to me that seems like that's a little bit excessive, especially with the idea that there are no performance language in this whatsoever. And by performance language, it's like within a year you need a contract with somebody that's going to actually build the thing. Right now, it appears the city of St. Mary's and its people, they're just being held hostage on this particular piece of property. I understand that the Gateway Committee would like to have a hotel here. I understand they believe in a hotel. But that doesn't make it necessarily true. I think I would implore the city council to take a long look at this and decide whether or not you want to just continue to keep your hands tied on something, on an MOU of this nature, when you've got no performance details whatsoever. This could go on for another 6 years. That's not fair to the city. That's not fair to the people out here. It reminds me a lot of Spaceport. You know, there was a big problem with Spaceport. It took a referendum to stop it. Perhaps we need a referendum on this too, to say, what do the people of St. Mary's really want with this thing? That's all I have to say on this. I got another one later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Is there anyone else? No one else? Wow, okay. Okay, all right, all right, we'll go ahead and move right into our agenda then. So we have new business, item A, which is a resolution for Boy Scouts of America Eagle Scout Project regarding St. Mary's Howard Gilman Memorial Park gazebo donation by Marcello Reed. And you wanted to say something, sir?
I think there was a resolution.
Yes, we do have a resolution. Did you want to
You
say
wanna read
something
it?
ahead of it? I will read it. I was just wondering if you had something
No.
to say ahead of it.
No.
Thank you. All right, so we do have this resolution. I'll go ahead and read it. So this is the resolution of the City of St. Mary's, Georgia. Whereas Marcello Reed has generously completed an Eagle Scout project that involved the renovation and maintenance of the historic St. Mary's Howard Gilman Memorial Park gazebo, which has significantly benefited the community. Whereas Marcello Reed has, upon the successful completion of his project and passing his Eagle Scout Board of Review on May 24th, 2024, donated excess funds raised for the project totaling $820 to the City of St. Mary's. Whereas the Eagle Scout rank represents the highest achievement within the Scouts BSA program, symbolizing a Scout's dedication, leadership skills, and commitment to community service. And whereas the City of St. Mary's is grateful for Marcello Reed's project and donation, but believes that the excess funds would more effectively serve the ongoing mission of the Scouts BSA. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of City of St. Mary's this 19th day of August 2024 as follows. 1, the City of St. Mary's hereby acknowledges and expresses its gratitude to Marcello Reed for his contribution to the community through his Eagle Scout project. 2, the City of St. Mary's declines to accept the donation of $820 in excess funds and expresses its preference that these funds be utilized to support Troop 208 and the broader objectives and mission of the Boy Scouts of America. The City of St. Mary's finds that the best use of the excess funds from Marcello Reed's Eagle Scout project is to support the Scouts BSA, therefore fostering further youth development and leadership through scouting activities. Approved by the Mayor and Council of the City of St. Mary's this 19th day of August, 2024. So, Council, I would entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Jones.
I'll second it.
We have a second by Mr. Connor. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, ma'am, that passes unanimously.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you again, Mr. Reed.
Great job.
Thank you. Okay. All right, next we have item C, which is the Memorandum of Understanding Extension between the City of St. Mary's and GOPE Gateway, Inc. for development of Gateway property. Mr. Horton, did you want to take that on? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The request in front of you, the old MOU has expired or is in the process of expiring. And we went into conversations with GOPE, GOPE Incorporated, and began looking at the agreement and going on. Where we're at with the project, or where they're at with the project, when they did the archaeological study, they had 2 spots that they found items of interest. I had to work on that one. But it was just 2 little things. One was at where our boathouse, in the backyard of the boathouse, what we refer to as the boathouse, which is where the marina office is, and across the way, across Reddy Street, in a park that they've got over there, which is being looked at as a parking lot. So When we did the study, it has sent off, or when they did the study, it was sent off to DNR for review to the archaeological side of the house. It is being evaluated currently for the possibility of a level 2 phasing or study, which means they come in and do a little bit more in depth and see. Some of the folks that are, and I'm sorry, y'all, I'm real loud to myself.
But not there, can you lift your microphone just a little bit, because it is not loud to us?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
That's really loud. So to come in and do more thorough to determine if there is some other things, but some of the folks that have lived here forever and know the history of the area and those 2 pieces of property feel like that was fill dirt that was brought in from other areas of Camden County. We really don't know where the dirt came from.
Where it came from.
Well, you're about the only one that was around when that happened, Mr. Jones. So, I'm sorry. But anyway, that's where the project is. But we went into negotiations with GOP again because the renewal was coming up. One of the requests were GOP has put hundreds of thousands of dollars into this project already. They do have one of the big name hotels, and I'm sorry, Mr. Fouts, I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I want to say it was the Marriott, but I'm not 100% certain on that. But they do have them engaged in the project that is on board, and they have committed to the project. But that's what the holdup is that archaeological dig and working through DNR. Those of you that have ever gone through that process will tell you that as an extended period of time that it takes a little bit. But the negotiations between both legal counsels occurred. One of the requests was GOP wanted to have the assurance that we weren't going to bail on them after they've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. They do have a concept drawing or concepts of the hotel and drawings to support, and they've been actually working on the inside of the building as well. So that was the reason for the extended period of time, the reoccurring thing. The city does have an out as well as GOPE with a 90-day notice that we can cease and desist. So
All right, can you say that one again, because I just wanted, just to make sure that was clear.
you wanted to do what?
Could you repeat that last sentence around the?
We do
city's
have an
ability-
out clause in the agreement that within, I believe it's 90 days, that we can back out or they can back out.
Okay, thanpe you.
I had a couple of questions before you get down. I have no issue whatsoever with GOPE and what they're doing and their intent, good intents, as I see it. And I know they've spent a lot of money. They got a lot of things, and we shouldn't have any problem with the 2-year extension. But I think when we start talking about auto renewals without any other discussions, we're getting into some pretty dangerous territory with respect to how we conduct business in the city of St. Mary's. I think that's a little bit excessive just to have that auto renewal on this thing. But everything they're doing is just absolutely fantastic from my viewpoint, and they've got a lot of money invested in this project. And I know that their intent and efforts are toward making that project a reality for the city. So, but that's my thoughts. And if and I'll wait on this, but if I can offer that we approve this, and it's going to have to be a modification to the motion, I know, but without that auto renewal, that's what I intend to do at the end of the discussion period.
Thank you. Anyone
And
else?
Mr. Horton, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you're right. I was there during the 60s and 70s when Gilman Paper Company, we hauled anything that we wanted to throw away, be it bags, trash, metal, whatever. It was a sort of a landfill. And really some of it was covering marsh area, which, nowadays that's forbidden. So, we don't know exactly what's under there, and but I do know that if a hotel of any size with more than one story, we're going to have problems. They had a boathouse there, and I'm sure a lot of people remember the boathouse, but the boathouse it had a concrete slab, and it broke 20 or 30 times during a year. They had to jack it up and because the ground was settling. And if you couldn't put a one-story house there, if that couldn't stand it, I know a hotel is going to have a problem with anything more than, I'm not a specialist in this, but I do know that you can't plant over muck and marsh.
Yes, sir. Just for informational purposes, there has been compaction tests done. Matter of fact, several of them over the property. So that has been looked at and is being considered in design.
Okay.
Anyone else?
No.
All right, with no further discussion, again, entertaining a motion. It looks like Mr. Riley had mentioned a modified motion, so I don't want to know if you
Yeah, I'd
wanted
like to make a motion that we exclude the auto renewals and then vote on the item separate. I think that's permissible, the way we should do that. Is that correct, Mr. Lapp?
I would prefer that if you want to make that modification, that you give us direction to go back and revise it to reflect that and give me an opportunity to talk with their attorney about it and make sure that we can work out that language before you take a vote on it. I don't want you in a situation where you're voting to approve a contract that is incomplete because we've got to go back and revise it further.
Thank you. That's why I wanted to check with you first. You're the expert.
Perfect. So what I'm hearing is perhaps we give you some direction in terms of going back and revising. Is that what you all would like to do?
That's I think, the right thing to do, and I think that you
Perfect.
can do that from your seat. Just
Perfect.
give direction.
All right, sir, if you could take this back, revise it, and then come back at a later date.
Understood.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And just so I'm clear, the revision would be to remove entirely the auto renewal, or is that what you want to do?
That's what we're hearing.
I mean, it's fine, other than that, I think, so.
All right, I think that takes care of item C. And then, I'm sorry.
Are we doing a motion?
No.
No,
You don't want a motion?
no, that was just,
Yeah,
Tabling
I would
it.
suggest a motion to table it, and you giving me direction on what to
Sure.
do, but I would table
all
it
right,
for
so
now.
we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have
Table it.
we have a motion from Mr. Jones to
Second.
table the item, a second from Mr. Connor. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Ma'am, that's unanimous to table and have the city attorney look at removing that auto renewal, sorry. Okay, next we have item E, which is the lease supplement agreement loan resolution and fiscal year 2025 general and water sewer funds budget ordinance amendment for vehicles and equipment through the Georgia Municipal Association. And so, Mr. Riley, I believe you wanted to discuss?
Yeah, I did, and I know we're taking a big cut of that this year because of the ability to get the rates, and we had to put this year's principal and interest payments in the using the equity funds in both the water, sewer, and general funds. And my question is, I think we need to talk a little bit about that so we all understand that what this is, the one-time nature, and where we're going to go in the future and how that's going to be handled, and what the impact especially is in those two funds because of our responsibility up here on council to make sure we maintain a balance in that fund to take care of emergencies and so forth. So, thank you.
Yes, sir. If you'll remember back in May when we reviewed the budget, we We went over all the equipment and we identified different ways, and we even talked about how to pay for certain pieces of equipment. For example, the fire trucks, $1.7 million. The decision was made that we needed to use the lease purchase methodology into paying for the equipment. And I've provided for council the list of equipment that was identified in the budget. You've got, it's broken down into different departments. You've got the sewer department, which has got a WAS sump skid. I don't have an idea what that is. Bobby can explain it. The rehab of the centrifuge, a side-by-side, a replacement crane for one of the vehicles, we need to replace one of the back cons that's reached the end of its life, and a new sewer vehicle. In the water department, there was also an additional vehicle that was needed there. Then you got into the general fund with the police department vehicles. In the fire department, you've got vehicles, and you've also got the replacement of 2 fire apparatus, which is on a 7-year cycle, is how we've been doing that. These trucks are 23 years old. Actually, they're 23 years old. So that's $1.7 million. Following on down, public works, you got 0-turn mowers, you got a bucket truck, you got a tire balancer, a scissor lift, and 3 trucks. And highways and streets, you got a vehicle. And in building, you also have a vehicle for a new inspector. So in the water sewer department, we're talking about a grand total of $1,073,500 total for that equipment. In the general fund, you're looking at a total of $2,513,200 for a grand total of $3,586,700. That is what we're asking for as far as the loan goes to be able to pay for it. How that works is, because there's a lot of folks don't understand, and if you don't mind me taking the liberty to try and explain it, and I've got Marcia sitting behind me, and if she throws something, it's not at y'all, it's at me.
I think,
She's right here, Mr. Jones.
so just a little pause, because you did cover a lot there, and we absolutely would like for you to explain it. So in layman's terms, summarizing exactly what this transaction is. I think that's,
Okay.
Thank you.
And can I turn this way a little bit?
Please, thank you.
I hate talking to you with my back to y'all. Don't mind y'all. City governments aren't allowed to purchase things in the same manner that you would at home. Okay? We have to go through different steps and different ways to accommodate that. So one of the ways is a lease, but it's a lease purchase. When we get through making the payments like you would when you make a car payment, when you get to the end, it's like $1 transaction and it becomes yours. And that's all verbiage. So the way this works, and I'm trying to summarize it in Robbie terms, so everybody please bear with me. What will happen, or we hope that will happen, is we're applying for this loan or this lease. So if it's approved tonight, we make application, they approve it at the bank and agree to go into this MOU, which is basically what we're doing with the leasing company and the bank. And it's all funneled through GMA, which they do it all across the state of Georgia. And what happens is when those fire trucks come in and it's time to write that check for that fire department, Ms. Marshall makes a phone call and says, hey, my fire trucks are coming, I need to have a check. They will then cut that $1.7 million, not before. Okay? So it's like a bank of money, if you will, that's sitting out there, it's available. We actually had this in the agreement 2 years ago, and because of what's going on in the fire industry, it's taking 2 years to build a fire truck now. We never engaged that agreement. So that money, the bank still had it. It never hit our docket. Just trying to clear that up. So anyway, once we have taken the money that we need to pay the bill for all the equipment and the vehicles, so that money comes in, that money goes out. The part that's unknown is the principal and the interest that is accrued, I'll learn to say that one day, that is accrued that we have to pay on an annual basis, part of the amortization. That was the word I was looking for. As a part of that amortization is what we didn't account for. And the reason we didn't account for it was at the time, the volatility of the interest rate that was going on during that time, back in May, if you will, we were uncertain. We were even uncertain of the bank. We had reached out to GMA, can you give us some sort of an estimate on the interest and the principal? And he said, I'd really rather not do that because of the fluctuation that we're seeing in the interest rates that were going. We had that discussion with council at the time. Council understood that. We had that discussion as part of the budget meeting, and the decision was made we would come back in and we would ask for it. So, breaking it down, how's that going to impact our budget? Okay? What we're asking for coming out of fund equity, hold on. Total is $506,940.93. Water and sewer would be getting $1,073,500, and the general fund would be getting $2,513,000. Let me say it again, $2,513,200. For all equipment, you put those two together and you get to $3,586,700. So that's kind of how all that works out and has to play out. Yes, ma'am.
We're asking tonight.
Please stand up.
Thank you.
But what we're asking for tonight, as far as the budget ordinance goes, is $151,000 that would come out of fund equity for water sewer, and $355,000 that would come out of general fund. Now, the reason for those numbers is because that is covers your debt service for fiscal year FY25. Now, bear in mind, these vehicles, the purchase for these vehicles and equipment has already been approved. Y'all approved that when you approved the budget, and you've already approved the funding for it, because when we have an expense for the vehicle on, say, Public Works, then we've got an offsetting revenue side of loan proceeds. So really and truly, when we get the fire trucks in, per se, they will cut me a check for, give us $1.7 million, and then I'm going to write a check to the vendor for 1.7. So that's a wash. So the only thing that we're looking at tonight, per se, because everything else has already been passed. Y'all have done the deed on that. But the only thing we're asking for that tonight is to provide for the debt service for this fiscal year. And then when we do budget this in this upcoming year, that will be budgeted for FY26 for the debt service, and until we get the loan paid off. So that's the skinny on that.
Thank you so much. And
I understand that.
I think we just wanted to be able to provide a bit of transparency for our audience, whether watching or here, so that, when you look at a spreadsheet and you see $4 million, it's a little scary. So just wanted to try to compact it down to layman's terms, which that final sentence is we're covering the debt service for fiscal year 2025, and it's not $4 million. $4 million plus, okay. It's the interest that we were not aware of at the time that we approved this. Okay?
Principal and interest, right.
Okay, so do y'all have any additional questions?
No.
No, thanks, that explains it quite well, I think. And what you didn't comment on, though, was the impact on the equity accounts, which is the one that we're holding for, that we have
Yes, sir.
principally for emergencies. And
Yes,
we do
sir.
use it in the budgeting process when we have
Yes, sir.
excess available. And I'd like to just address
We've seen that in the past when we've get
Right.
with Irma and Michael pretty well slammed us and really affected those numbers, but we've got that rebuilt back up.
So what he's saying essentially is
We're not
that,
gonna have a storm this year, don't even go there.
no, what he's saying essentially is that we like to keep 4 to 6
Yeah.
months of operating expenses in that fund equity, and that we will still have that there.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, with no questions, we have item E, which is the lease supplement agreement loan. Right, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
he's
going
just
to.
reading.
Thank you, I'm reading it. We have the lease supplement agreement for loan resolution in fiscal year 2025, general and water sewer funds budget ordinance amendment for vehicles and equipment to the Georgia Municipal Association. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve?
We have a motion to approve from Mr.
Second.
Riley. We have a second from Mr. Rassi. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Ma'am, I believe that's unanimous.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Moving right along to item G, which is the minor subdivision final plat request for tax parcel 121009 Radiant, St. Mary's LLC, Exit 1 in St. Mary's Road. And I don't remember who asked for discussion there?
I did.
Mr. Riley?
I was the one again. I was the guilty one. And the reason I asked for the discussion is not for the issue that we're considering tonight, because that issue's been looked at by the Planning Commission, and we've, those of us that have looked at this has reviewed that. We're comfortable with it, I believe, at least I am. And the thing that we want to discuss is some of the questions that came up at the Planning Commission on Tuesday night, yeah. And there were a lot of questions, none of them really having to do with what was being approved that I heard. They were all relevant to some of the concerns with understanding when the project
Timeline.
is going to start, when the project, what the impact of all of the different utility services and things, and people, and traffic and so forth. And so I've asked the city manager and community development director if they wouldn't mind getting up and discussing what our plans are to make this information more available as we go forward. Right now, we're in a mode where it's just not available, I believe. And but we're getting to where it is, so that's the request.
Y'all are really tearing my city manager's report all apart. I'm just gonna say
That's
that.
fine.
No, it's fine, it's fine.
I didn't know what it was going to be before I...
We have been working on this for well over a year plus, and we've been in the design phase with a lot of engineering going on and things of that nature. We are planning to roll out we are having conversations with our engineer, our project manager, and developer to be able to roll out information and show everyone where we're really at. Okay, it's a very, it'll be an overview. We don't want to get down to the weeds where you've got a pipe that's 6 feet in the ground. You don't need to know that we got a pipe 6 feet in the ground, but that's what they're doing. But we will be rolling that out probably within the next couple of weeks. We'll certainly have it on Facebook, and we'll also have it on our website. We'll ask Ms. Deborah if she will also send it out to her list. But that's what's in the plans currently. But we're trying to get all the information gathered up and actually be able to put some timetables out, and I think everybody's going to be pleased with what they hear.
Great.
Thank you. And
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
just to summarize, so we will hear about timeline, impact, utility, people, and traffic.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other questions? And you'll have more during your report, I'm guessing?
And I'll do what?
You'll have,
I'm sorry.
you'll have more during your report.
Well, I don't know, I pretty well summarized it, but
Gotcha.
if I hit it again, I apologize now.
Okay.
So,
All right, so no further discussion?
No.
All right, I will entertain a motion for the minor subdivision final plat
So
request
moved.
Second.
for tax parcel 121009 Radiant, St. Mary's LLC, Exit 1 in St. Mary's Road. We have a motion by Mr. Rassi. We have a second by Mr. Riley. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? Ma'am, that would be unanimous?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. And that was our last item, so we'll move down to the report of the city manager.
good evening, Mayor and Council, Madam Mayor
Good
Pro
evening.
Tem,
Thank you.
and our citizens, glad you're here. Those of you that have tried to drive down Douglas Drive sometime this week already, or maybe you haven't experienced it yet, but they will be in the process of paving Douglas Drive this week. And it may go into next week, depending on how the weather holds out for us. So please, please, Douglas Drive is being paved. Traffic will be affected, so just FYI. On the Osborne Median project, the City Tree Board received beautification award from the Garden Club for this project. Congratulations to our tree board. Main Street, they've issued 13 occupational tax licenses issued since July 1st. For those of you that don't understand what an occupational tax certificate is, that is your business license. They are also in the moving forward with the final stages of cloud permit software, which will also help with communications with our businesses. Main Street has had 2 ribbon cuttings in August, one bringing an expected 50 jobs to the area. Also finalizing the Carl Vincent MOU for Midtown RSVP and branding study to kick off in January of 2025. Council, you should be seeing that here shortly. So just FYI, keep that one in the back of your mind. In collaboration with tourism, they've started training with the new Placer AI software that will be instrumental in the data for current and future developments as well as targeting events. This software allows both our tourism and our main streets to have an idea, a matter of fact, it's probably better than just an idea, I would say, of actually how many people are at events. 4th of July was a trial run, 13,000, was that right? 13,000 was around the number that we saw at the 4th of July. So that's exciting when you start looking at those kinds of, in those fields. Working with organizers of the first annual Southeast Blues and Barbecue Festival taking place on September 21st from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the waterfront. Mr. Jones, that was Southeast Blues and Barbecue, and it'll be on September 21st. Put it on your calendar. We got to go eat us some barbecue. Huge thank you to the police, fire, and public works, as well as the Coast Guard volunteers for organizing delivery of sandbags to our downtown businesses in preparation for Hurricane Debbie. Main Street's been working alongside Community Development Director Jamie Stone, assisting business owners with creative uses of right-of-way as well as facade improvements. They are also in the beginning stages of updating our light pole banners as well as adding additional locations to give a cohesive appearance to the city properties. Pardon me. DASM, which is also tied to Main Street. The DASM committee continues to push forward with their big grant in conjunction with DDA's facade grant and the JDA targeted investment program. Looking forward to the impact of these incentives will help provide the businesses. The DDA has made a collective effort to push forward with our facade grant and has awarded $7,647.13 since July 1st. The DDA is also sponsoring entertainment for the Seafood Festival taking place October the 5th. For tourism, another great music in the park on August 10th with the Amelia Blues Band. Next music in the park is September the 10th with Woodstock Review by the Honey Badgers. That ought to be good. New billboard vinyl installed at Exit 1, Visitor Information Center. The Tributaries Magazine Fall Festival submitted, including the Blues and Barbecue Festival and Seafood Festival. Scripts for the Health and Education and Tourism submitted to CGI Community Video Project. The Waterway Guide ad and editorial submitted for the Marina Boating Fishing segment, 1+ million search. Cruisers Net ad and editorial submitted, Marina Boating Fishing segment. The Angler Magazine insertion agreement, working on editorial, the Marina Boating and Fishing segment. The Marina Marketing assets sent to Seven Seas Cruising Association. The Seafood Festival's vendors application created, posted. Travel, Taste, and Tour magazines marketing assets submitted for home for the holidays section, which is 885,000 reach. The Atlanta Magazine September travel section issue ad submitted 1.6 million reach. Georgia Public Broadcasting insertion agreement completed for TV and radio. New logo created for the second annual Woodstock Festival, April 25, for the Camden County Audubon Society, active with Planning Committee. From July through August, St. Mary's and Cumberland Island has been featured in 12 published results, generating 158 million total impressions and the total estimated value of 1.4 million. Community development. The department is beginning to build out all land use applications in cloud permit and anticipated shifting all applications online by the end of the year. Assistant Director Tage McMahon has initiated the department's GIS data update and needs assessment with assistance from GIS manager from Coastal Regional Commission. This effort will provide much needed updates to our zoning map and enhance the property function in cloud permit. Director Stein is working in collaboration with our Main Street manager, Ms. Candace Poole, to assist local downtown businesses with creative uses within the right-of-way. The Aquatic Park, we're running out of weekends, folks. Saturdays and Sundays are a great way to beat the heat. Please come on out. The end of the season is September the 8th, which is a Sunday, will be the last day. With the end of the season, staff are getting the projects ready and we'll be making the needed repairs during the closed months. We appreciate all the citizens that came out in the summer and supported the Aquatic Center. Thank you very much. If y'all will excuse me just 1/2 second. Can you flip me over there, please? Can you flip me, please? Hold. Swamp, please. Yay!
Amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you see before you looks like a drawing. That, in fact, it is. This is our senior center parking lot, which will be behind the actual structure. This is the first time it has made public view. We are going through the process of, as we speak, to be able to get this where we can release it for bids. as most of you know, we have been pretty well wrapped up in getting the final phase of the senior center, which are the 2 bathrooms in the back of the structure, and a storage room. Those are under construction. We're getting real close to being able to get that completed. As soon as that's completed, we'll open up those. That'll add an additional room to our senior center, and they'll give them facilities in the back of the structure so they don't have to run so far to get to the facilities. But this will be located out of the back door, right across the driveway from our senior center entrance in the back, okay? If you come in the front, Mr. Larry, it's the parking lot in the front. I know where you park. I'm just giving you trouble. So while we're on that, some of you have wondered what City Hall is going to look like. We have completed the conceptual drawings. We are in the process of doing the construction drawings, and while they're being finished, we are in the process this week, I believe, or next week, to open the bids for the demolition portion of it. Now, demolition, there's not a lot of demolition, but there is some demolition of some of the walls to be able to build out the facility. If you're looking at the screen on the upper far right, that is where you see your senior center. The big space down below is your storage area, and I think we can say it, can we? Yeah. Submarine Museum will be going in the front portion, front 9,000 square feet of that. If you're wondering where the 9,000 square feet mark is, it's the second row of dots that you see coming from the bottom of the screen coming up in that space. That's roughly 9,000 square feet. To the bottom left, all the way to the left, that is our new Main Street area. And between the storage and the Main Street area is the executive suite and the finance. The center of it that looks like a football stadium is the new council chambers. To the left of the council chambers is the community development area. North of the community development area, or top left side, is the new courtroom. We are going to have a designated courtroom. If you've been in here on a Friday afternoon wanting to do business, it's kind of chaotic, to say the least. To the right of the courtroom is a multi-purpose room that will also be used for boards and authorities. It will also be used as an emergency operations center for the city of St. Mary's. Then you've got some other spaces to the right of it. We're actually, one of the things that we're wanting to do, we've got to figure out how we're going to pay for it too, but we want to have a room where we're able to do a podcast out of there, get information out on a weekly basis so our citizens understand more about what's going on a regular basis. Then you've got another set of offices just down below that, which would be the council offices, and there's a bunch of other offices in there. But I wanted to get, we haven't been sitting on our laurels on this. It's just the design and the construction phase is taking a little bit longer than what we anticipated. There's also a design for the front parking lot, and I didn't download that, and I apologize for that. I'll try and have it for you on the next one. So, let's see. So we've already talked about the exit one part of it. We have had an update on the Burrell Bridge. It has been fast-tracked. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is fast-tracked when you talk about Georgia DOT. But we are looking at construction in 2027 as it stands right now. So for those of you that have been at home through the day and let me back up. When Debbie came in, we had some choices we had to work through. One of the big ones, as most everybody knows, was garbage. Obviously, on Monday, we weren't able to do that because the landfill was closed and all of our concentration was on the actual storm coming through. After that, because of the delay, we had to reallocate staffing. We didn't, I apologize, let me back up. Common Services had to reallocate drivers and our priority was, one, to get the garbage picked up, two, was to get limbs and leaves and that sort of stuff, which means pulling additional crews that were running recycle and putting them on the street to do the pickups, those other pickups. So that delayed our recycling program. But if you were at home today and you were scheduled for recycling, you should have had your recycling picked up. If you do have recycling and you do have more than normal and it's overflowing, please put it in a bag, put it next to the recycling container. The crews will pick that up when they come by and pick up your can. But we are back to normal schedule and we are picking up recycling at this time. Madam Mayor
Thank
Pro
you.
Tem, we are complete.
Wonderful. Thank you
Unless
very
you
much.
have questions.